Kita listeners to Radio Maria around Papua New Guinea. We like welcome you long at long no talk show do me hello Radio Maria. Mi amo mas lo sirang story on the mi plalo this session. Lo Radio Maria lo talk session. So name to me Hezron Wangi Jr. Me want a lawyer on the Department of Justice. Me work in Salon office so Colin Solicitor General's office. So yes, me almost like I'm sitting on TV. I think this is our fourth episode, if I'm correct. So for the past how many Saturdays, colleagues with me, but then we have been appearing on some of these sessions where we talk about various topics. Last week, me plus story click. I think senior senior council Miss Angeline Peranda, I'm sitting on story click law constitutional rights na. Rule of law of Papua New Guinea. So yes, this program already Maria a lot of sessions and mostly the initiative law halivim of Papua New Guineans to understand the basic rights block law so that they can make we as Papua New Guineans so we can make informed decisions, especially when we are going about in our day-to-day chores and what we do every day in our everyday life. So speaking about everyday life, there's something every day that we mostly every day whenever you say involved and we purchase things. We go to shops, we either purchase things or you buy more something, or you go engage in services blow one or company, whether it's health services or whether it's any services in the services industry as well as purchasing or something, you buy or something. It's a transaction you are making with the businesses, especially rights where I'm involved with them some transaction and by my story really learn today. So these are what's called as consumer rights or customer rights view. I think in previous sessions we talked about sample rights for me as Papua New Guineans in Migatlo. We have the fundamental rights and we have the qualified rights. So these are some of these rights are right to life, right to freedom of expression, right to movement, all of these different freedoms and rights were constitution given in or according to the citizens of Papua New Guinea. Apart from these rights, do you got all rights where suppose you may involve one them business, you may involve one them service provider. Small business now service provider or you may sample right where whether you may buy kai, you may buy fuel, you may buy marasin or you may buy any form of services. You may also consumer. You may get the right to where all you may body premium and go buy in Bagarak or persona. By engaging with these services, our rights are that these businesses have a duty of care. Duty of care, lo protecting health, as well as value for money as well. So these are very important. We'll by me exploring law, exploring some topics, especially where rights will come and how by me can enforce his law right. Now one important of is too. I think by me looking Platilo newspaper, by me looking sometime no social media, no Facebook or on them social media platform using and role or independent consumer and competition commission ICCC in Planty. And we'll by me look to law. We look at also the same importance of Larabal relevant to legislation also for the ICCC as a kind of general health inspector, especially law court system doing too, non-police authorities blame. So consumer rights are important because they protect individuals from unsafe, unfair, or fraudulent business practices. So ensuring quality, safety, and fair pricing to the marketplace. So also empowering. These are the rights we have that they empower consumers, especially as ourselves, to make informed decisions and when we know these rights that we have, we can demand accountability. Osem, me go inside one plus store. I'll give a scenario. Me go inside one plus store, and plenty time is looking. And I'm some making me better to some time. So giving me some videos, especially when we as Papua New Guineans, we go into some of these shops and we purchase expired goods, all expired goods, especially from Kai Kai. By looking all expired goods, so by putting on top, by looking so by putting on some special, or by putting clearance, or this, all of these things, they put it out there, and then they drive down the prices. And yes, it may be a bargain, it may be cheap, and it may be, we can sell it one plus something where it formerly cost 20 kina and 1 kina, and then it will be how much 3 or 5 days expired. So if we can talk some more, it's not that big of a deal, but problem is I'm supposed to be consuming this all products and consuming this all drinks or one kind of something, especially me consuming when we drink. There's a high possibility that by you sick, costing your health. So these are practices that are sometimes happening across Papua New Guinea, where you get also businesses are providing things like that they put up on their shops. And it's not only that, you also have I've seen a lot of things on social media, and especially on newspaper. Plenty of service providers, sample service providers in particular, all local providable services to that standard whereby you expect him to the standard where you expect him after you pay him something. I have this sum of money to these businesses. So that's just a scenario that we pay to picture along and by me understanding gravity law situation in Mr. Plema. So consumer rights, when you're talking about consumer rights, everyone who purchases goods or services in Papua New Guinea is a consumer. And these just to detail or give him some explanation of what these rights are. Let me just list them down in historical law. So firstly, one of the most important consumer rights that you have is the right to your safety. You can buy Kai Kai. You buy Kai Kai, you buy drink, you buy one of something, one of services. It's the right to your safety or your property safety. When you purchase these things that are not harmful to you. And then the other thing as well is in terms of transparency, you are right to sabe when something you buy or purchase or I should say right information. You must be given accurate and clear information about the price. Or if you buy one let's just say if you buy a car or you buy one machine or electrical appliance or anything to do with what the ingredients for Kai Kai or expiry date for Kai Kai or product quality, if you got terms the condition for electrical appliance, kind of legal or something or something you must sabe lo so about protecting you. So once you sabe what you are purchasing, it will protect you as a consumer. And then the other thing as well is the right to choose. So you got the right to choose freely between products without pressure or manipulation or misrepresentation. That's where the man will put him up on advertisement or one kind of something, will put him on that process and whatnot, and if they mislead you or whatnot, that's tying to the first right to right for information. And then the other thing as well is a right to fair pricing. You must not be overcharged or exploited. Meaning to say that if something is at market price, then it should be sold at market price. Kind of suppose I3C, I'm setting, especially on all basic goods. There are basic goods premium of Papua New Guinea, total for rice, oil, tin, fish, kind of something also. If there's a pricing on that schedule that will put him out, I3C and put him out, then this store, this shop or taka box or anything at all, it must follow that pricing basic goods, so that you will not be exploited. The other thing as well is right to redress, or right to enforcing right to you. So if you are sold a right to you as a consumer, so if you are sold a faulty or expired product, you got right to some refund, replacement, or repair, or warranty. So when more legal something or some, where especially when it comes to redress or remedies, or when it's something you can make him supposed to, okay, me buy him this rice cooker or Brian Bell, or me buy him this torch or Brian Bell, me carry him to the house, but look at Brian Bell, and I think also give him receipt. Now you get some warranty on him as well. So me carry torch to me go to the house, to me use it for night. Na torch him pagara po dali part him loose, we can carry him go back in with him receipt. Na you got warranty stuff long, where we can see refund, or we can change him, or can send him this torch, or can give him another torch, or they'll try to repair it or fix it. So I think it's a leading example of what should happen in most shops. That's what Standard with Brian Bellum said in Noem. And then there are other shops like that as well. So, and then the other thing is, another consumer right is the right to quality goods and services. So suppose you buy something low at a certain price, at a certain amount of money, then you rightly or you deserving product where meeting is like acceptable standard of quality, where meeting money is spending on the money. So, and then finally, the right to be heard. You can, if all of these things in the above, or something you wrongly on items or services or products you purchase in Noem, you got right to lodge a complaint on them, complaint about in this business, law ip4, ip4, and then you got some revenue law as well, where you can seek him and enforce him right. So because something as well that I know I mentioned it in the above is concerning expired products. So expired products, relatively we unknowingly buy expired products, and something was basic something was rice, noodles, tin fish, so all beginning all family got baby as well, beginning, and maybe to talk kind of something was a baby formula, custard and stuff like that. So it's important that you may understand something where you buy more, yes, it can be cheap, but it can be sold at an expired date, but it can cause food poisoning, illness, or health risks when can come on them. So it's our duty as consumer that you must have something you buy, read the labels and check for the expiry dates. Now you must inspect in more packaging. Now where you may look at some more shops, you may all local continuously selling on expired goods, and you may get right law, reporting some businesses law, reporting on businesses law ip4. So yes, so law this last side law on remedies where consumers can take it. You must firstly call the business and make sure that if they do not know that they are selling these products, which I'm pretty sure that there is a slim chance of that, not of them not knowing. If only no sabe good, then we must talk sabe long. We must stand on our rights and speak to these businesses and tell them, inform them, and advise them that, like, look, this was something you are selling them will expire because they need to be taken off the shelf, and then they have to be, we have to ask for a refund if we find out that some of these things, they are expired, and show them the expiry dates and as well, expiry dates on the labeling or packaging. And then the other thing as well, we have to keep evidence. Keep the receipts of the things that you are purchasing. And also, plenty we got those smartphones too as well. And Xim picks up or something. All expired goods, as well as keep evidence and records of your communication with them is la business, yeah. And then what you can do afterwards is you write a formal complaint. Formal complaint, like clearly stating, you set them out what happened, lower them up by which business, one of my businesses start on them something involved. Whenever something can come up with you, if you are engaged in a transaction with them, whether products or services, and then you report to the ICCC. Yeah. If business refuse or some aren't provide a refund or redress or anything, or for the you as a consumer or customer right to you, then you report to the IRC and IRC can step in as well. And sometimes some of these business practices, kind of out of fault, it's not accidental. Some of them, some serious cases, these are fraud and misrepresentation. Sometimes you must have some one mark or hardware, so it's bad customer service and it's bad, bad customer service, bad products, to the extent where it's now a criminal act in nature. Let me give one example. I think suppose you like to purchase a car, and then you come and you are being told by the vendor or man of Sati Salim's la car or something, okay, or especially if it's a business, you go all automotive business, it's like business document, Salim extra stuff. Extra stuff, which is like something that's like like selling which is like price for what a regular normal extra would look like. And if it's especially if it's new, the mileage is low, and I'll give more the details to you. So you see more the details long you carry mechanic to go on, and then you guys find out that in the engine bay or them is the vehicle that you have, it's not it's a separate engine or something is wrong with it, and you know that for a fact that these people are trying to defraud you to get your money out. And in cases like this, where serious cases of fraud, then it must be reported to the police, or it's not just bad business practice, bad business practice now. You may just let him go. I'm not really sure if it's a cultural thing or if it's a sign of respect, but sometimes we don't stand up on our rights, especially if something you line on make him me, especially in these businesses, whether it's a bank, whether it's a hair salon, whether it's any one of the service providers, we have to demand accountability, and we have to demand the standard for which we are paying for, and there are some shops as well that will sell these products to you, and then expired products and all of these things, and then because we do not speak about these things, they continuously do them, they continuously sell these products, they continuously act in that manner. So we speak up, and if they do not listen to us, we report these businesses to the ICCC. Okay. So ICCC, I've been mentioning ICCC. So the ICCC is the Independent Consumer and Competition Commission. Okay. It's established under the Independence ICCC Act of 2002. So ICCC role long basically ensuring fair practice to businesses themselves, and it's a primary economic regulator, and it's an economic watchdog as well. So main role of look Papua New Guineans, especially where historically consumer rights where consumer rights are concerned, and as well as for businesses themselves. So yes, so businesses, ICCC, their roles formal and also investigative on if complaints are being made. They investigate things like some expired goods, overpricing, misleading advertising, if there's unsafe products or services online, some contract or commercial contracts as well concerning goods and services, and they can also assist in terms of enforcing these consumer rights. Law price regulation. So also regulating the price or some basic necessities in terms of goods, and also setting threshold maximum ceiling on price, so preventing commission without of limit like overcharging and stuff like that. So, and then the other role it does is competition regulation. So shall make sure some local businesses they are operating in such a manner that it's not it does not abuse, they do not abuse their power in the market. And the other thing as well is IMSA issuing licenses, IMSA monitoring on operations for, especially for shipping ports where Papua New Guinea and PG ports, electricity, PNG ports especially to do with shipping and other things such as electricity and to name a few. So it also conducts market investigations, and it's mostly economic. Their role, economic, to do with regulation of businesses, and it also has enforcement powers and can inspect and rightfully legally can inspect on premises or businesses, and can examine evidence, issue notice, and to an extent where if necessary, or can also start a process from laying a complaint to prosecute offenders. So also we mentioned in that law just a bit before that the ICCC is established in the ICCC Act of 2002. So it covers consumer protection, price regulation, competition rules, and enforcement powers. So what it does, it's based on enforces fair trading principles, where businesses must be honest, they have to not mislead consumers, provide accurate information, some of which they relate to some of our rights as consumers as well. So they have to meet the standard of the services they provide. So if it's to do with food and beverages, then they have to meet the basic standard of food and beverage or selling these things. And if they do not do that, then the ICCC, in collaboration with other state agencies, on the shop, on the restaurant, selling stuff that's quite unsafe for consumers, and upon the report of consumers or upon its it finding out, it can work in collaboration with people like the ICCC or the health inspectors to go into these businesses, to seize evidence, to find out what's been happening, in terms of the premises, so we can deal with this on businesses legally. And then I think on the most recent activity that ICCC being one that I saw over the Christmas holidays, especially January and August, I think I saw January or December. We came out notice by the ICCC that's been put out there. It was emission notice law, especially legal box or businesses or shops where all of law charging will fee left post, especially excuse me, charging will fee left post machines especially if you like see cashback or if you like making purchases where BSP and put them out on this business okay, these are we are not doing this, you can either report this to BSP or ICCC, and then I think ICCC took on board some of these complaints to know about this law warning on businesses. So okay, you don't know about making a similar consumers that it's like I pass it maybe or so passing the businesses by me. Okay, you got charging this amount, so you like to see cashback loan and they can let him talking surcharge contact no. You know, these are things that involve the ICCC. You can think of some more, you know, it's not that really necessary to look into these things, but imagine this. They keep on doing that. If that business or this last shop or this last name make you sell a one ply, it drops people. It drops people of their hard-earned money. Yeah. So imagine if you make 20 plus people, you get around 40 kina. Okay, you combine the other shops around that place, or you combine the other shops around Papua New Guinea as well. You can get a pretty hefty sum, a big money where you can see nothing. And then they get that it's an illegal F-post surcharge where you're not supposed to charging me low. So these are some of the things that we need to be aware of. We need to be aware of so that we know when to enforce our rights. To especially when we're being surcharged illegally. And then there are some instances as well where if you involving my CCC, and then I mentioned that there's instances of fraud or something, or man or selling you something, or give you something, especially businesses. Businesses, if they sell you something that is faulty, if they sell you something that is it does not meet the required minimum standard of what they're selling or the service they're providing, you can seek redress and show something completely wrong. So you can do that by firstly going to the police if it's a criminal matter, or not, especially if you are signing on a contract or you are purchasing something. Some of these big things that you purchase from businesses. And what you can do as well is you can seek legal advice, maybe from the public solicitor's office or from legal counsel, considering your options view and enforcing rights view. Most usually, some of these lawyers will write to the businesses to say that you guys did this, you were selling something kind of domain, he was sold at this price, he was promised this, but he was given this. So it's borderline illegal. So only to define you or only give you something that's meeting the expectation you as a consumer who spend your money on it. So it's just a brief recap now without something you need to claim. So consumer rights, they protect your health, money, the dignity of your health. When businesses fail to respect these rights, you have remedies. The ICCC is there to step in with legal powers, or strong legal powers that they can assist you if you have certain grievances. If something or businesses are selling you, or if it's causing you bodily harm, whether food poisoning, any one of those things that arises because of you purchasing and consuming these expired goods, then you have the right to enforce your rights as a consumer and seek redress, get compensation for what you are going through. So the ICCC is there to assist in that, and as well as you have other state agencies that are available at your disposal, like the police, as well as you can seek advice from your lawyers as to whether or not you want to file, especially for the really big cases where you have suffered from them, from these business transactions. And it's also very important at this point, as I mentioned in the above, with the close side, you as a consumer must be informed and aware of what you are purchasing. And beware of some of these promotions that the shops are doing in terms of the products that they're selling. If it's expired and all that, you have to check through the labeling, check through the packaging pasta, and also rightfully as a consumer by demanding receipt. When there's something you purchasing you must talk, speak up when you are treated unfairly, and report businesses that break the law. So that it's not only businesses that are selling goods as well. It's to do with service providers as well. If they are selling you something and then if they cheat you out of your money, then you must make sure that you report these businesses either to the ICCC and the police as well, if they are defrauding you of your money. And then we have to understand that on plus strong and fair market in Papua New Guinea, it depends on whether we as consumers are informed of our rights, to enforce them to make sure that businesses are responsible for the services and the products they sell. So it extends to service providers within the tourism industry, within any form of this industry that you engaged in a transaction with. So once we understand our rights as people, we can easily enforce them. And it may take some courage, but we have to speak up about some of these things that affect us as people, as consumers. And I'm not really sure whether it's to do with respect or maybe in cultural something, or some of the enemies are passing on to us, some of these things. I think to the point that we are boiling now, or we are bringing in this time. At the very beginning, when we see that something is off, something is not right, then we have to actually speak up about it, report to the relevant authorities. And if you purchase something that is wrong, or there is that's called defects to it, like last, I think a few months, a month or two ago, I saw something in social media as well as, probably it was on social media, something about a water that was being sold, water and selling, inside the water, maybe I'm stuck inside it, maybe something is in there. These are things that are made me, make me cross. And then rightfully so, because when we spend money on these things, we expect that these things are sold to us to a standard where we expect that. Simple something was water or drink, right? And it should not harm us. So a strong marketplace is a strong marketplace depends on informed consumers. When we are informed about our rights as consumers, we put these businesses on notice and we make them become responsible for the services and the goods they sell. So thank you very much for the listeners viewing. We need to talk Law ICCC, Mr. Law Consumer Rights, means by which we can enforce these rights and some of the rules, invoke some of the rules and functions of the ICCC, especially when some of our rights are not being accorded to us. So thank you for the listeners. Mi llamo Lucila Montenegro, this is la session Law Talk, Law Radio Maria. Na we look forward to Sira Montenegro episode next week. Thank you.